All right, we're going to, what's that? Going to open up the Water Sewer Commissioners meeting on March 26, 2019, and it is now 7:25. Bob, you wanna? Working on the budget here. This is a budget meeting, by the way, for water and sewer.
Alright, how do you guys wanna start?
I think sewer's on the top page, so.
Yeah.
So you just wanna start right with the budget, not go over any of the last year's or any of that stuff, or,
No, we got the papers here, we just wanna go
Okay.
through.
so,
I just wanted to see where the revenues were last year. I mean, if you wanna just touch base on it, you can.
well, I really don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of a wishy-washy thing, cause we can't get up-to-date numbers on everything, and we're trying to work out of our numbers and her numbers,
Okay.
and she added different compartments, so there's new lines with, she's trying to break things out more, so it's a little more detailed and what's going where, so when you look at a number on last year's compared to this year's, it's kinda, this number is now broken out into 3 different things or something. And, so when she
Oh, you're
separated,
talking about line items.
right,
Yeah.
so trying to compare and figure out where you are. Overall, we're tracking on the budget essentially how we estimated at last year's budget, so.
So we'll just go through the,
Yeah, so we'll just start with the budget and skim through. So there's a few things that, we'll wait till the end, but there's some other things that we gotta consider once we go through this.
yeah.
So, salaries, this is the sewer salaries. If you go through that and look, budget went up slightly, and that's based on COLA numbers and step increases. I did the COLA at 1.75%, but I don't actually know what it is yet. So,
So it's gone up, what, 805?
that's just the top one, cause that's salary, which was mine, and then the full-time wages is, the hourly employees. So for the sewer total, based on everything, overtime, salaries and hourly wages, it went up 6,500.
So you budgeted for salaries 1.75, then COLA, and then
And steps for whoever was
is
eligible.
eligible, and then we can fine tune those once we get the
Right,
COLA amount from that,
right.
and then we can review all the other,
So the rumor was that it was gonna be 1.75 plus steps. But they've done that to me before, and I set my budget, and they said 1.5, and then they said 2%, and then they said, oh, well, you can't go up on your budget once you submitted it, so they kinda stiffed me one year on that, so I would like to find out before I submit it to them.
okay?
Alright, so then,
And that accounts for, an assistant, you know, the
Correct.
operator and
that's
assistant,
full staff.
and a water and an assistant.
Well, this is just the sewer.
This one is just.
Right,
So
right,
there's
no, I know
another
this
one,
one's
yeah.
just sewer,
But
but I'm
yes.
just, that'll
What I
be-
budgeted was what we should have for
Right.
employees, so.
Okay, alright.
And that is for July 1 to July. Does this account for, any
Summer Hill.
summer help?
I didn't factor that in, but it depends on how. I did factor in to replace Willie's position. So I know there was some conversation between you and I as to holding off on that and getting summer help or.
Okay.
But I think it's a conversation we need to have a little more just based on,
So there was money that was budgeted for
Willie's.
backfilling that for Willie's, which was
Correct.
part-time. So that
and I
we
just
could
looked at
use
that as that position, if I budget for it, whether it goes part-time
Right,
or
okay.
that position, which is still part-time, but
Right. Yeah.
whether it be that part-time position or summer help.
And then there's enough to staff as far as hiring one more.
Yes, one there,
We're good then,
and then
okay.
Willie. So, like I said, that's
Okay.
full staff,
Oh, okay.
or at least my opinion of full staff. I
Right.
still have to do that evaluation that
Right.
DEP said we have to do for the wastewater.
Okay.
Which if we did hire someone to replace Willie's position, I would wanna try to get them licensed.
Yeah,
Just that way, at least it covers another license, and we can claim that towards part of the staffing.
Okay. That's good on that then.
So that's that number. And if you notice the column on the far right, I did a column to show the difference between last year's
Mhm.
budget and this year's budget,
Yep.
just so you can see where it went up and where it went down. Health insurance, that one I kind of put a little buffer in there, and that one, and I don't even know if it's really a buffer, because these numbers are probably based on the staff we had last year, which, as you all know, we've been understaffed for probably since I've been here. But so if we got to full staff, I don't know how much that number would change. And then I also don't know.
Oh, we get this, the health insurance, we get that from town hall anyway.
Correct, but they wouldn't give me an
Number of-
exact number, because I guess they haven't signed any agreement yet
With the,
with the provider, because this is a renewal year.
yeah,
But, so I based that number on just, they said it would be, they're estimating maybe 10 to 15% increase over last year's numbers, so.
okay.
So the health insurance costs just keep going up, and it kind of kills my budget, but. So all those numbers up here, basically from above electricity, is all numbers from the town, and I don't know the exact numbers, and they could fluctuate based on hiring.
Right.
You know, whether they take insurance, whether they take the waiver,
Yeah.
so those numbers can vary, and I won't know.
Yeah, so those we have to wait on those. So basically, from electricity down, we can,
Right, so if we started electricity and go down, those are what we have control over.
right.
You're keeping the electricity at the same?
Yeah, hoping there's not a lot of
Looks like we're at
fluctuation.
62% now, so it's tracking good.
Yeah, same with heating, I didn't change. Kept everything pretty much the same. Advertising, I thought we had that in there last year. Actually, I think we only put it underwater last year because we had sewer full staff. So I put some in sewer.
Under the sewer.
I'm actually hoping to get that done before. Yeah, see, last year I had 1,000 in water, so I just split it and I put 500 in sewer, 500 in water. So technically it's level funded, I just moved where it is. Legal services, I'm hoping that's done, but it's just kind of a placeholder, 'cause we don't know. And it's one of those that you can't really,
So I wanna see, what was that?
bank on.
I was thinking, you probably just said it and I wasn't listening, but on the, just to go back on the repairs and maintenance, that category was, I wanna look up the code and see exactly what that. So what code does she have?
Yeah, cause they get confusing.
I know, so I wanna see what's,
So that's if we have like Busquets repair something, Eunice is lumped in there,
52.
Yeah, it's Erickson doing,
Gustafson,
the
Erickson.
control work, the EDS mechanical for the HVAC stuff.
Okay. All right.
How-
It's-
those
it's
units-
stuff that we don't fix.
Isn't there something with the units over there that is there a heavy repair over there we gotta do with the AC?
Yeah, for the unit up
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not quite sure yet, cause it was failing over the winter, and
Yeah.
we got it going again, but. Oh, it's here that we have to do this
Oh,
building.
it's this one, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
this
what it
was
is.
the one that was
It's
leaking.
this one, yeah.
Yeah, so the drip pan for the condensate, cause it's a unit that does both the AC and the heat.
Yeah,
The drip pan and stuff is rotted out,
Yeah.
so all the condensation's going down onto the heating coils,
yeah.
and it's leaking all over the place in there, so. it's all rotten out, and he said what it would take to dismantle that to try to put another tray in is gonna cost you more than it would be to just replace it.
Yeah.
Replace the whole unit,
Yeah,
yeah.
because the way it's built in there.
Can we plan on doing that, you think, this summer? or-
That was one of the things on my list of.
That's what I was looking to see.
We need to discuss what we wanna look at doing there, whether we replace it with the same type system or put in the split
heat pumps.
units.
What about the heat pumps? One
That-
here,
that's-
one there?
that's a split.
unit,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if we went with the split unit,
Mini
then
splits.
there's, I had talked to the guy about that too, cause I had said, well, you can put one unit outside and then come in with two, and he says it's cheaper just to put individual units in.
Inside, and then,
Well, no, that's what I said. Individual units
It's
inside, so
inside.
two heads but one condenser.
yeah, outside.
Yeah, and he said, no, it's cheaper to just put two individual units.
Two individual units?
Yeah,
Is it?
cause, and he said, the benefit to that is also that if something happens to one, you're not taking everything out.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So we just need to kinda make a determination on which way we think is better.
That would eliminate oil too, wouldn't it?
That
Yeah,
would get rid of the
gas.
oil here and, well, at least in here, we still have the garage would still be
Garage
oil.
would still be oil,
But we'd get rid of the oil tank back here,
but,
get rid of the heater back here, and that would kinda open up file
Mm.
storage space, I suppose.
And propane out in this one?
No, it'd be a Mitsubishi Splits and electric unit.
Oh, the
yeah.
electric.
The electric unit.
It's got the heat pumps and it just reverses and.
And it worked out good, cause when the
Yeah, that's
power
what goes
goes
on,
out,
that's
you
right.
could still run it with the
I was
generator.
Yeah.
thinking, I was thinking they were propane, but they are, they're
Yeah, they're
electric,
electric.
that's right.
Is that, who recommended that?
Well, it was actually me and Colin were discussing it when
Oh.
we had talked about,
Yeah, it was nothing final, we were just discussing what might be work out the
yeah,
best.
no, we had just, he happened to come in when we were discussing that when it broke, and me and him had a conversation as to whether it made more sense to go with split units or replace that unit the way it is. And the advantage to the forced hot air is that all the ductwork and everything's already in
It's
place.
already in place, yeah.
But, and it kinda heats that back room, but I don't need that room heated, I need the bathroom heated, and a little 4-foot electric baseboard would cover that. So,
I just put a little piece of electric heat in there.
yeah, just put a 4-foot baseboard in there, and you know, that's plenty for that little room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let, I mean, that's, so that, I just, that, as far as that line item goes, I think that's looking up, cause I was looking at it and we could have made some adjustments there, reducing that, but there was some things coming up, that's why I wanna see what was coming
Yeah.
up with that.
That and,
Okay.
and on the sewer side, it's, a lot of the stuff is getting older, all the VFDs, you know, Steve had started trying to price out things that are, you know, looking like they're close to end of life. The VFDs, they don't make anymore, so you have to change them to a new one. You can't get parts for any of them. And any of the panels in there, the PLC panels, all that stuff, most of it is, they don't make anymore, so when something goes, we have to upgrade it to a new thing, which is gonna be expensive, so. I didn't add that in here, but this kinda covers some of those issues.
And we would split that expense
Flush it out.
anyway, right? Wouldn't that be
That's
water
what
and
I'm-
sewer?
That's what I'm looking to see what,
Because it's the office,
on
it's,
the water side.
Where do you have that listed
For what?
for the heating?
I don't actually have it listed, but it would go under repairs and maintenance.
Oh, you got it under repairs, okay.
I mean, I would
So,
think that would be.
Like Colin
split
was looking
between
at
the
that
two.
number, saying maybe we can reduce it some,
But
but
I was wondering what was being pulled out of that
Right.
account, that's why that was my
Alright,
question.
yeah.
But wouldn't that be split, right?
It would be split,
Yeah, cause it's the office.
yeah. So that's why I was looking on this water to see what we had there, and that looks like, that's a good number there too, so.
You got 25,000 on the, water, right?
Right. When we go in,
50.
15 has been expended,
Yeah.
15.8. So, yeah, that's a good number, okay. I'm satisfied with that one. Let's see, what else we got,
so professional and technical, that one's kinda one of those where we probably need to, have the conversation. I mean, that would fall under. Oh, that's the outside laboratory testing.
Yeah.
So that one's,
So that's something she's changed, obviously.
yeah, I was gonna say, that
Yeah.
one's, it's. See, I had it under the assumption that that would cover like, Stantec.
That's what I was thinking, but
Yeah.
according to the,
According to her list here, which, you know, I don't agree with some of her stuff here,
Yeah, it's outside lab,
it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, but we'll have to tweak that, cause she does have an engineering and architect,
That was a new one that she put
so
in.
that's a new one. So we should probably cut that
Right.
40
So
grand
that
back. Mm.
needs to be moved down, you know, some of that needs to be taken out and put down on that line.
where is that, what line item is that?
Just a couple down.
Yeah, it's 53004.
1, 2, Yeah,
I feel, yeah.
three lines down.
Okay.
So that's where Stantec is.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was some, the professional and technical, some of that was, that number's higher because we were supposed to hire outside companies to come in and do, some of the sewer cammering and jetting, so we could finish that whole project that was going on,
Okay, so,
for the sewer system evaluation. That's why that number's high, so a lot
That's
of,
gonna come out of the 40,000.
so
yeah,
this-
but that number's gonna kinda carry over to this year. It's not getting expended this year, so it'll carry over to this next year.
Okay.
Because it wasn't done this previous year. We just ran out of time. Some of it may get done before July, so some of that will get used.
So we'll just carry that over until next year. What you say?
So we have to shift
So
that down, so now, cause professional and tactical, we
Right.
got, is obviously over budget according to this, but it's not because it has to be shifted down to the next line item, which is, it's 0 on this, so we need to
Yeah.
make sure that that gets,
Right, but I mean, so that's where it gets a little confusing because it's not like it's not an engineering company that we would be using to do the sewer
no, I mean, cause they have,
jetting and cammering.
they have Stantec for 5304.
Right,
And if you look on the budget, it says 5304 and it's 0.
right, because that was a new line item that
Right.
she had added to this one.
So we need to just adjust that reduce the 5300 account and then add it to the 5304 account.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is, this is the sewer one.
Yeah,
So that 40,000 isn't for engineering, it's for a company coming out to do jetting and cammering. So it's not an engineering type thing, it's not an architecture type thing. It's more professional and technical, you know what I mean? But that's not what she's calling professional and technical. I mean, I don't know why she would call just outside lab testing. It's still a professional and technical thing, it's a a specialized type of work, it's not just any Joe Schmo can do it yet. Have to have very expensive equipment and stuff, so it's more of a
How are you gonna
technical
work
and a
that? I
professional
mean-
company. So under her things, I don't even know what, I don't know what you would put it under. It's not repairs and maintenance. It's something else, but it's not engineering, so. I suppose I could.
Do we know how much we've
suppose-
spent on Stantec this year? I mean, just to,
I don't know off the top of my head. We haven't had Stantec really do any work.
yeah, they haven't done much.
But that's where, when we get to the water one, we need to have the conversation
We
about,
need to have a conversation about that one, but
because I talked to Gina today, and she's putting together some estimates and stuff for me, just for the, Davis Street project, just so we have an idea of what steps would have to happen, how long it would take, and how much, to get that first part of that done.
Oh, they have the water line done?
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer?
Yeah.
They do both, yeah.
since they've already done some of the sewer lines, do we know what's the ballpark on what they've got left?
Who's done some of the sewer lines?
Haven't they done some of the sewer lines?
No,
Cameron?
me and Steve did. Me and Steve did it with our equipment,
Yeah,
but our equipment is limited. We can't do the runs that we need.
yeah.
But it's roughly $6,000 a day to have them out here. So we were gonna try to do as much as we can with our equipment, which is why I didn't bring them out yet, because we were seeing how much we could get done before we had them come. And then we could line it up and say, all right, you know, do this whole road from here to here, or just these sections, and then have them jump from, you know, just try to lay out a plan that would make the most
And
sense.
how far can they get in a day?
All depends on the system, the pipe, what they run into. I know some of them that I've talked to said they can do about a mile a day if the conditions are good.
Unless they run into a fat bird.
Yeah. Roots or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so far, everything that we've seen has been pretty good. I mean, while we were doing it, we found some things that needed to be addressed, so we took care of some of them. We had 3 of the manholes done over here on Gilboa Street that they were just so rotted you couldn't even get the covers off to do the inspection. And all the bricks were falling apart. We had them fix. There was a ton of infiltration up at the end of Colonial, where the pump station pumps into that one manhole. It was just groundwater leaking in there like crazy, so we had that same company come in and they remortared all the brick, got everything back to where it should be to stop all the leaks. And they redirected the pipe coming from the pump station so that it had less of an effect on all the brick. Because the way they had that pump station come in, it just came in with a straight pipe and it dropped like 3 feet. So every time the pump station comes on, it's just that blast of water.
Niagara Falls.
Yeah, hitting it. So obviously it's going to wear everything out. So they ran the pipe down and kind of shot it into the invert. So, I mean, I guess, like I said, I guess you would consider it maintenance.
So you're saying not budget anything for engineering and architectural then?
Well, that's where we need to decide, are we gonna try to have the engineering done to expand the sewer line up Davis Street? Other than the Davis Street project, I don't see anywhere where it makes sense right now to expand the sewer. So how much design and engineering do we need on the sewer end?
Was it gonna be up to us to pay for the design?
That's a conversation that needs to be had. I mean, from what I see, we don't have very much potential for revenue by running that expansion down there.
Mhm. Yeah, the revenue is not gonna outweigh the cost of doing it, and I can't see having just the sewer users pay for that.
Right, I mean, all the sewer customers would end up flipping the bill to get tax revenue essentially,
Right.
because they're
It
not
should be.
gonna,
The
they're
whole,
not
pro-
gonna
the
get.
whole, the whole project, I think, should be lumped together, and it should be as a town.
It should be a town
Right.
funded project, not,
I mean, we can operate and maintain and repair and do that, but as far as the initial investment to do all that, I mean, we don't, it shouldn't be up to the small amount of users to do
Right.
that, which, I mean,
we
should.
have on sewer, 1,200 people, something like that?
For connections, probably 760.
Yeah, we can't ask 750 people
No, it's gonna, and
to
the
pay
benefit is
for
for the,
8,500 people.
it's for the economic development, which we desperately need, and
Right.
it'll benefit the town substantially. So I think that needs to be a discussion to get that cleared. I mean, obviously, we'll help facilitate and do whatever we can to make sure that this gets done. But,
But I know they're really pushing to try to get that project to move forward,
right,
and it's a tight timeline, so we gotta have that conversation like really quick.
you have to get the numbers first, and you said
Right.
you reached out to Stan.
I already talked to Stantec to give me a
And they're working
proposal.
on the proposals for that, so as soon as we have the proposals, then we can meet with Matt
I mean, the water,
and get that, and the board of selectmen if needed, and try to get a plan together quickly, because it's gonna go, obviously, town meeting is, you know, right
Right.
around the corner.
yeah, so I mean, the water, I can probably give you fairly close estimates on what Stantec will come back with. The sewer is up in the air. We haven't had any sewer work done in.
Yeah, his water's pretty cut and dry, we don't have to worry about grades and,
Right, the sewer, it should be fairly cut and dry up there, depending on how far you wanna try to stretch that line out.
Right.
Because you need to look
as far
to
as
the,
going gravity.
you have to look to the future to design now, because it's gravity. If you just set it to where they're going, it's easy, it's straightforward, it's all downgrade. But you would need to put a little more effort into it, cause it, where they wanna go to is kinda at the peak. So you need to look at it to see how much further down you could go and how deep you'd end up going through that peak in order to get.
To
Right,
get
they
everything.
need to do a
happy.
survey, is what they have to do a survey.
Right, they're gonna have to survey it.
Right. Which is part
That
of.
would be the next
Which is
step.
part of the,
Right,
of
so-
their proposal for the sewer.
So if she can give me a budgetary number for them to do like a design, the next step would be getting the survey done. So they would probably need the survey, but they should be able to pull up enough information to give them a good idea as to what it would take them to design it. Based on just topographical maps that they could get, elevations and stuff fairly quickly without a survey. Obviously, you need a survey to do the final thing, but that would be the next step, is get the estimate on what it's gonna cost for the design, and get a survey done. So that's the immediate costs that would need to be done to meet, and I'm sure they can give us a ballpark what they estimate construction would cost. You know, just budgetary numbers,
Yeah,
which at that point, you could have it ready to go to at least get ready to submit for grants or whatever they're looking for. But they're gonna want like shovel ready for that grant, so to get the paperwork rolling and get everything going to start applying for the grant, they could probably get some rough numbers to work with, to put in there for now, and then it's a matter of getting the survey done, the engineering done, and then they can give you a more solid number.
so I would emphasize to Gina that the time is of the essence, and is she aware of that for the grant, for the Waterworks grant, we're trying to accomplish, to get to
Right,
that,
but- What would Gene have to do with it?
not Gina.
Gina.
Oh, Gina, yeah.
Gina.
Stantec.
Yes, she does know that.
Okay.
She brought it up because she asked, because she sent an email back a while ago asking if we wanted to go for any of the grants to try to do the lines that we want to do.
Right, there was a change in direction,
Right.
we shifted that one,
That-
that way,
well-
so that's why.
They say it's a change in direction, but I still think that the other ones still need to be done regardless of that project,
Right,
which is another part of mine where, you know, we need to get some of our infrastructure
oh,
fixed
absolutely,
now
absolutely.
before we're concerned about adding 5 customers, you know, so.
I agree.
But yeah, so I did tell Gina that,
And if, I
I mean,
mean,
this is a,
okay, so if you're saying Gina's, is good with
she's
that,
aware that it's.
She's gonna concentrate on that.
I think we should concentrate on that at the
Yeah.
moment.
Oh, yeah,
For
definitely.
now,
I
you know,
mean, we already have ballpark numbers on, I've already come up with numbers that,
Right.
you know, based on all of Stantec's numbers and all the other water lines.
Right.
But, you know, we could look at different things for that, like the Main Street projects, that's something that you could probably more get SRF money for. I tend to shy away from SRF just because you jump through hoops and
Right.
you jump through a ton of hoops to just get, and you have to do everything on their schedule and their way, which often costs more.
Well, some of this stuff I agree with, but we have to have it, I mean, the budget meeting is next week, I mean, for finance, so all that stuff would have to be, got to have that from Stantec prior to the, you know, months before.
Right, yeah.
Right.
So we can plan for, properly planning on the
I mean,
budgetary
this-
process.
Yeah, it would be ideal that they came to us now for next year, you know.
Yes, but even on that, even on updating the lines that you're talking about, like stuff that we should be doing and getting these lines fixed,
Right.
We should have proposals and all that, so we can, if we need to implement that and try to put that into this budget for the for the 20 budget.
Well, we have all the engineering estimates for those.
So that was, we have all for doing certain projects?
Yeah.
Okay, so, but now do we have a rates, do we have how we have to implement that with the rates? I mean, I don't think we did
No,
anything with
that's-
Doug, there's nothing been done.
Well, no, but, part of the rate study was that we would be putting $50,000 a year into retained earnings to do projects
to
like this.
expend for.
Right. But
Right.
we've done projects. You know, we did the booster station, we did
Yeah.
the tank
No, we have been
rehab
doing,
project,
right, we've
so,
been doing projects, but
and, you know, the land purchase, but,
I think that to get a better budgeting sense, we need to get a little bit on better timing, not, start, have it in
Right,
January or even before that.
But I
So
also-
we can plan a little
yeah.
better on,
and I had the conversation already to find out if we can, borrow money to do the projects, and then do it the way that I had mentioned before of, we borrow the money to do the projects, and then we hire people. You know, if we hire a crew of 3 people or something, just say, all right, your job for the next 3 to 5 years is replacing water mains. You know, we could probably do it at half the cost if they're employees as opposed to contracting it out. So I haven't got the answer yet, but they said that they'll pose the question to,
Matt,
no, to whoever the funding people, the Department of Revenue and everybody, to see if that can be done that way. To take a loan to pay salaries,
yeah,
essentially.
that was, I had brought that question up,
Right.
yeah, and I don't think.
So I did pose that question. She's gonna look into it and find out if we can actually do it that way. She said, well, why don't you just fund the salaries out of retained earnings and then take the loan to buy the materials? I said, well, we don't have the money in retained earnings to pay, $200,000 a year for the next 5 years.
yeah,
So it's part of that project, if we take the engineer's estimates on what everything's gonna cost, use that to borrow the money, and then we just use it over the next 3 to 5 years to pay the salaries and.
I mean, I think that the users should be responsible for the existing
Right.
structures, and we should be updating accordingly and making sure that the
Right.
current system is running efficiently
Right.
and up to date, and changing, fixing pipes that need to get done and change. And then new stuff should be, the town should make the investment
But
and on
Well,
the tax levy.
you
and
say that, but same thing I say at the capital committee meetings, it's a case-by-case basis. Cause this line going down here is more for fire protection.
Right, I know.
So-
right.
It's replacing old pipe, but we're sufficient with what we have. But when
For
they start-
domestic, then-
Right,
right.
so that's what I'm saying. I agree with the
It changed,
concept of, yes, we should be repairing our own stuff, but when we're repairing or upgrading to cover more fire protection, more so.
Right, we can't help the laws that change, if they increase the fire protection for fire flows for
Right.
industrial use, and then, then it goes back, like, look at what we have for infrastructure. So
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but I think that there has to be some investment, we have to do,
Yeah.
we do need.
The
to make
overall
some-
concept, I understand, yes, I agree with the Main Street pipe, that should more be on us to replace. It's something that, it's a maintenance item.
Yeah,
That pipe looked good though, you saw it, right?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It's
Yeah, I
like
don't know
brand
if
new.
you-
Yeah,
No,
you
you
seen
saw
that
it,
picture,
yeah,
yeah.
I showed you the picture. But, it's
but I'd like to, I really would
60-year-old
like to
pipe
get
that
that,
still looks new.
yeah. So it's hard to, I guess my point is hard to budget and forecast, because we're at the tail end of it, and we gotta get,
Right.
we have to, and then we get this other, the Davis Street, which takes priority over all the other projects. I think that helps the whole town if that
Right.
project goes through.
Right.
So,
Okay, so then that leaves the question. Where we started.
just a big 360, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, that's
20
all right. That's-
20 minutes down the tubes and we still don't have a number for engineering and
Well, I think we're gonna wait, and we're gonna see how we're gonna,
Okay.
So,
We're gonna have to write in Virginia to,
I think when we close out
yeah,
the next.
Gina can get me numbers.
we're gonna have to split it up for like engineering and repairs.
Yeah, there's design and engineering,
Yeah,
and then there's doing the actual work. I mean, the first step is to get the design and engineering done.
So we'll have that, I don't know if we'll have that for Tuesday's meeting, but you have to meet with,
She said she can get me numbers.
Okay.
Hopefully within a week.
and then we can
5
have a
days.
discussion with Matt, trying to get that consensus.
So we're gonna have a placeholder on the engineering and architectural then?
Yes.
And then
we're gonna have to divide, how we're gonna divide 5,300 and 5,304. That's gonna be up to Jeannie.
Well, I think Bob can straighten that out, but
Yeah,
to get
I'll-
that,
All right.
figure out how you wanna allocate that.
Now, we have a line item for the IT stuff. We're hoping all the major stuff's done now that they changed whatever over that they're changing over. But I did budget 10 hours between water and sewer, so it's half here and half in water. It's $1.10 an hour.
That's just his labor.
Just IT's labor, yeah.
It's not if we have to buy anything.
Right, that doesn't include if we need computers or anything else.
All right. Physicals, fully trainings, level funded, telephone.
Well, the physicals I went up just because I'm anticipating 2 to 3
Yeah. Yeah, that's all.
employees we want physicals.
Small item.
Yep. Level funded the employees, training seminar stuff.
Yeah. Telephone.
Telephone I went down a little because I anticipate getting rid of a lot of those phone lines.
Okay.
The stuff that does the telemetry now.
Yeah.
Postage, level funding. Printing and mailing level funded. Cellular level funded. Internet, that one got broken out. They're charging that separate and the price went up because some of the upgrades the town did required them to upgrade the service. I'm not happy about it just because we used to be at like $75 a month, and then the last IT guy came in and said, oh, we gotta change this, we're gonna get you up to this speed, but your price is gonna go up to $175 a month. So,
Wow.
so it went up to the $175 a month, but we never got the speed increase. So for the last 2 or 3 years, we've been paying for 100 megabytes per second, and we're getting like 15 megabytes per second. So that's why the computers kept crashing. That's why she couldn't be on Munis, and it would lock her out. And
So this new IT guy take care of that?
so the new IT guy went after Charter, saying, "Hey, what the heck? You know, we're testing everything. We're not getting what we're paying for." And then he upgraded it to suppose we get it even faster. So now we're supposed to be getting what we're paying for, but the price is even higher. So it's,
Well, what happened to the,
well, that's what I said. Why aren't we getting our money back for the
Right.
extra 100 we spent for the last couple of years? And they said it's not going to happen. So. So that's why that line item is there now.
we're gonna pay $2,000 a year for that beautiful Munis system?
Yep.
That takes about 10 times more paper.
Well, no, because that's only half of it. It's 4,000. The other half's in water. so yeah, we got to pay $4,000 for the system that causes us nothing but headaches.
Yeah, I can't believe the paperwork it generates.
And say the paperwork and
The
my
time,
admin pretty much
the
spends
time.
90% of her
Yeah.
time just on that, where it used to be,
It used to be one sheet of
Yeah.
paper, now it's 10.
and it would take you a couple hours a week to do whatever you had to in the billing software, and now it's
Yes.
like consumes all her
Oh,
time.
yeah, no, it's 3 months each billing cycle.
Yeah. And that doesn't include the final reads and everything else in between.
Yeah.
Are they having the same problems at town hall?
Oh yeah.
So they're in the same boat as we are with the.
Yeah, they have issues with the tax, and I mean, Lee's gone up there to work with them to get them to, because they couldn't figure out some of the stuff. So, because
Doing
obviously
another
we use
system?
it.
I mean, I don't know nothing about computers, but this seems like the most ridiculous system we've ever had.
Yeah, I'd love to go back to the DOS system. That was simple.
I mean, I understand staying up with technology, but if it's causing this kind of problems, I think you need to take a step back. You know, something that's a little more functional, but we're already too
Well, that's
deep
the
in
thing.
You
it.
got so far invested.
We had to buy all the computers for this. we
Yeah,
had to
I
buy
know.
everything.
And I agree. You went so far into it, but if you look at any business model, it doesn't matter what you've spent. That money's gone.
Yeah,
You got to look forward and say, all right,
Yeah.
is it worth spending X amount again? Because everybody says, oh, well, you spent $130,000 on Munis, so you're going to throw all that away. Well, you still spend $80,000 a year on Munis, so it wasn't really $130,000. It was really $50,000 because you're paying the $80 every year anyway. So do you throw away the $50 to get a new system that works?
yeah,
You know, that's the way I would be looking at it.
yeah. I mean, it's still fairly new, so hopefully.
Because
I kept saying, well, you know what? I mean, they're supposed to know what they're doing, though.
Well, they keep getting upset at me at the town hall because I won't pay the Munis bill. I'm like, well, what am I paying it for? Because I'm not getting it. The system's not working, so why pay it?
So I always think this, my thought process is a learning curve, but, you know, it's just causing.
It's been 2 years
I
now.
know, that's the end of slowing problems.
And we haven't had a billing cycle work yet.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know if the whole radio read thing with our
Right,
census.
not our fault either, I'll make that clear, it's not our fault.
Right,
but,
it has nothing to do with
No,
us.
that's what we were
But
told.
we
we
still
were doing.
can't figure out whether it's the munis causing the issues with our meter reading, or if the meter reading is the problem. We don't know which one's the problem now, and each one points the finger at the other.
Okay, so that one.
So with all the technology we had, we still had to walk to every house and read every meter and write them down on paper and then punch them in the computer.
How come we went down 3,000 on other services?
Where am I? Because some of the stuff came out. So that's where, like the charter, that used to be in other services.
That's coming out.
So pull that out of that one and put it up there. There was another one more that came out of that.
Oh, that's under a different line item.
Uniforms and other clothing that used to be in there too. So
Mhm.
yeah, it just got pulled out of there and put into other
Switch, yeah, okay,
categories.
somewhere else.
Supplies.
So just one thing here, and this accounts for some of the increase. I increased the vehicular supplies on both vehicles by 1,500, and then if you look at the replacement equipment, I put 4,000 there. Because one of the things the town's doing is switching over all their radio communications. They're getting off of the band that we're on now, and we have the radio here, and we have we don't have the radios in each truck, but we're supposed to. We had them in the old ones, and we just never put them into the new trucks. But they included us when they did their proposal to go out, and it was like $135,000 or $136,000, and Matt estimated our portion of that's going to be about 7,000. They've already bought the license for the FCC license for the bandwidth.
Company are they using?
Don't know.
So that's the 7,000, it's gonna be for us, 4 radios for our trucks.
To get us on, like we are now, we're on the same with highway.
Right.
But that's to get our portion of the whole radio and upgrade all our equipment to the new equipment. So
We'll have radios
Digital?
in the trucks now? Is that what you're
we'll
saying?
get radios back in the trucks now, yeah. That's part of that.
It is digital.
It's, I think they were on UHF and then going to VHF. I don't think it's digital, but it's they tried going through it at the Capital Committee meeting to discuss what the difference was, but nobody really knows. But
Is it-
police
is it-
already went over to
Alright,
it.
is it necessary for us to even be involved in that? I mean, given the fact, if we get a cell phone, everybody's had a cell phone or.
Well, they don't have cell phones.
That's what I'm
I'm the
saying.
only one that
I'm
has
saying
it,
is,
but-
would it be, if we had a cell, would it be cheaper than spending the $7,000, or is that a one-time
Can't
fee? or
talk on
something?
a cell phone like.
No, that's a one-time fee. That's
No,
not,
well, you're not, it could be.
yeah, that's a one-time fee. So it's just this year. We spend it once and that's it. I mean, the cell phones, if we start getting everyone outfitted with cell phones, then it's a monthly
Yeah.
expense.
I mean, it's not like we
Forever.
communicate with the police on the radios, you know, if we have
No,
an
but
issue,
we would
call
communicate
them.
with highway.
Highway, we could, but
Right.
you can just call John and say, hey,
Right.
John, what's
But,
going on?
I mean, there are a lot of situations that we haven't gone through. You know, if you look at all the emergency preparedness and planning and some of the stuff we should be going through, we should have radios. I mean, if it's a terrorist attack or, you know, some major.
Yeah, the cell network goes down.
A huge earthquake and we got 30 main breaks or whatever, I mean, that's where there's gonna be, we need to communicate and we can't be waiting on the cell phone, cause they're all in,
The other thing
emergency
too
mode.
is if you're gonna call highway and you're calling one of the guys in the dump truck, technically he can't pick up a phone while he's driving a commercial
Yeah.
vehicle.
right,
But he can pick up the mic for the two-way,
right.
so.
Can't pick up a cell phone, but you can pick up
You can pick up the mic.
Yeah.
So,
I think overall, technically, we should
Okay.
be grouped in with it.
In other words, we'll be tied in with the highway, fire, police.
At least highway, I think it would all be tied into the same thing. It's a matter of switching channels, but
Oh, I see, okay.
I just don't understand why they wouldn't go digital.
I think the radios they have are digital radios.
Yeah.
But it's more changing the bandwidth and everything that we're
Yeah.
using. So you have to upgrade to the new radios because the radios won't work
Yeah.
because they were set up for UHF instead of
Right,
VHF.
right. Yeah, no, it's the same system that's been there for 100 years.
Yeah. And I believe police already upgraded most of their stuff, but I know they said that this would kind of complete the loop because they're right now they got a lot of patches that takes this band and patches it over to the other band and then repeats it back and
Mm-hmm.
but this will fix some of that as well, I believe. But like I said, Matt gave me a heads up that it was roughly 7,000. That was our portion.
We're reading tapes, boys. Let's go. Medical supplies. We don't have anything under medical supplies. Don't we have a service that comes in and does the first aid kit?
We do not. We haven't had first aid. We bought those little ones from Walmart or whatever that are in the trucks, but that's about all we have.
But what about here? Don't we have a ZEP?
We do not. We haven't used Zep in years for anything.
Is that something we should have?
I would say that's one of the other line items that we need to discuss is we are not even close to OSHA compliant.
Well, that's why I'm
And
saying.
we're now under OSHA, so
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
there's a lot of stuff that's, whether we pay someone to come in and do in-house training, you know, we gotta talk to the town about that as to, if Maya's gonna conduct a lot of the training, there's stuff that we have to buy just to get us close to OSHA compliant. I mean, we got a grant to get the trench box and the air monitor, so those two we got a grant for through the insurance company, so those are covered. That'll get us, those are kind of big items to get us for the OSHA stuff.
And we got some stuff. I mean, we've got the eye washes, and I mean, all
Yeah,
that
we
stuff
have
is.
we have some safety stuff,
Yeah.
but we're lacking lockout tag out. I can tell you right now, any inspector comes in, we're gonna get bagged on the tanks. Don't have toe plates all the way around those tanks, so that's gonna be a huge expense. Putting aluminum toe kick plates so someone doesn't slip into the tank. I mean, those are 40-foot deep tanks, so it's a long way down into something you don't want to fall in.
You think that they would have been designed that way with
I'm
those-
sure it was, but the company that built this went belly up, and I'm sure it was just one of the things that got left off with the bond money to get whatever they could fixed and finished with the bond money. I'm sure when they ran out of money, that was one of the things that said, all right, forget that.
Yeah, I mean, the safety stuff, we gotta make sure that that's done.
Right, so,
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
just
there's,
stay on top of
but
that.
there's a huge expense with safety.
Yeah,
If we have to get into a respiratory program, that's just a huge expense all around. Annual training, annual testing, just the equipment you need to buy, respirators, fit testing. They do the respiratory program where you have to go get that respirometer test done. So all that stuff adds a lot of expense.
yeah. Well, I think it's stuff that has to get done. I mean, if that's a
Yeah,
requirement.
we know it has to be
And
done.
we need to get that done. We can't, because that opens, you know, that's a.
Oh, yeah, it's a
We don't
big
wanna be-
liability.
Liability now.
Yeah, but I was thinking just, I mean, we've got, I mean, even in our shop, we've got somebody comes in and services the kit. We've
First
got a
aid kits.
Kit hanging on the wall that's about this big, and it's got everything from cough drops to antacids to,
Yeah,
you know,
technically
the blood clot stuff that you can
Yeah.
pour on a wound so it stops
Yeah.
bleeding. I mean, we've got everything in there.
Yeah,
so.
but a lot of that you gotta be careful as to you're administering medical.
Well, the
It just
point
gets
is,
you
is
into
that
another.
yeah, I know,
another
but the
category.
point is that it's there. I mean, so you know, if a guy's at primary and he does something to himself, he can administer it to himself if he had to. You know what I mean? I don't. I just think that we should have those kits and they should be serviced. So
Yeah. We haven't had them since I've been here. There was nothing here for that long.
it's
Maybe
in
that's something you could look into.
Yeah,
and
I
get
mean,
that-
we
get
bought
that done.
first aid kits. There's one right out here, and then we've got them in the vehicles.
yeah.
But Other than that, we don't have
Did you
any.
check and see if the Band-Aid's expired? I mean, nobody does, no, seriously, I mean, nobody does that. Nobody does that, you know? It's, you know, it's not that anybody's doing anything wrong, it's just human nature. That's why if somebody services it, you know, when the guy pulls in the driveway, like, oh, hey, the Band-Aid guy's here,
Yeah.
you know? So I think we should do something
Yeah,
like that.
any of this employee-related safety stuff needs to get addressed.
Right, so, there is some stuff that I anticipate us, I mean, some of that's gonna come out of the funding that we have.
Yeah.
Did you put money in for that anywhere?
It's,
Well, the line item for medical supplies is blank, so.
yeah, I didn't put anything in medical supplies, I'm just saying for, I mean, we always budget some money for like safety glasses.
Oh, okay.
You know, boots, you know, this year I'll just enforce more, you need steel toe boots as opposed to just
Mhm.
work boots. Hearing protection, we've got the little foam earplugs. We'll need to, I don't know if the town has, actually, I think that I saw a thing online that, the state was doing a thing where the Board of Health can borrow the sound meters. So if we can talk to Board of Health about borrowing the sound meters, so we can try to go around, do the testing. If you have over 85 decibels, 80, for 8 hours a day, time weighted average, then that triggers the hearing conservation program, where everybody has to get hearing tested, and then you have to implement a program to control it. The engineering controls, you make the noise go away, or
And put-
PPE, you get hearing protection and, you know, earmuffs or plugs or both.
Right, as long as we provide them, whether they use them or not is up to the employee, but
Right.
we mandate that they should use them, and
Yeah.
we provide them in the places that they need to.
I mean, it's best if we can engineer control it out, because like you said, and we all know that you have to provide them. If they use them, that's on them, but part of the hearing conservation program is that everybody gets tested, and then there's annual testing. So you gotta go get a hearing test every year. And if there's hearing loss, regardless of whether it was here or outside of here, or, you know, if they go to rock concerts every week, it doesn't matter.
Right, we've had this.
But that's considered a workplace injury. So it goes on our OSHA recordable as a workplace injury. So if we find them, we need to enforce wearing them, not just saying we're providing them, you know.
Yeah.
We have to write them up for not wearing them if we catch them in areas that need it. But,
We can make it mandatory that they wear them, right?
Right,
Right.
then Bob would have to enforce it.
right, so it's a matter of enforcing it. And, but like I said, that's part of the respiratory program. I already wrote a trench safety program. There's just a couple things on there. When we get the trench box in, I gotta put the model numbers and stuff in there, but I've already written that one. But like I said, we're gonna have a hearing conservation, we're gonna have to write, respiratory program. We already have safety glasses, but lockout, tag out, we're gonna have to buy all the locks and the tags. I may have a couple kits, but at
So,
my house, but.
is the staff, do you send them for training on OSHA? Do they go to and get certified as well, under the new law that was passed?
I'll have to check who went. We did do an OSHA 10, and everybody should have OSHA 10 that works here because we are on construction sites.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure make sure they're all trained properly.
Right. So,
in
but there's
the OSHA requirements,
the-
that's
the-
what's needed.
the amount of training for OSHA is ridiculous. I mean, you've probably gone through most of it.
Oh, I
You
know,
probably
it's-
don't,
yeah,
but
it's
I mean, you
ridiculous,
probably haven't
right.
exposed to it. I mean, I know you've seen what they went through down Guilford for training, but
Yeah.
it's just, everybody needs to be, you need to identify all the hazards first and then determine, I mean, we'll need ladder safety, slip, trips and falls, and there's a ton of training that we're gonna have to do that has not been done.
So it sounds like that's a big area that needs to really gets focused on and get that, almost like you said, a safety director,
Yeah.
like all that stuff, they're not,
Yeah,
not
well,
higher, but
there
just
was a safety director, manager, I'm not sure what they call it,
Yeah.
but there was one appointed in town, so let's add him. So I will work with Adam, cause I do have a lot of stuff that
yeah,
I used to do for all those programs, so
Yeah.
I just gotta see if I can find them to make it easier on him, cause I know it's a huge task to take on.
Yeah,
You know, they're crazy to think that Adam has enough time to actually
to
implement.
implement that and go around,
Writing
policing
all
that
these-
stuff.
I mean, I don't know how much he's done on writing policies and programs, but it's a lot of work, and there's a lot to cover, so. If I can make it easier on him by giving him stuff that I've written in the past and just updating it with the new laws.
Yeah, there should be a lot of industry stuff that's already out there, white sheets and stuff that are already done,
Yeah.
you know.
So that is a huge thing. It's a matter of how much do we, I mean, I don't have any idea right now on how much to budget towards it.
I was just talking about first aid kits.
I know. You open the can.
So it sounds like that should be, if we're sitting here in next year's budget, we should have a whole thing in place to say.
Right,
This
I
this
mean-
one needs to be budgeted for.
And I mean, I'm even thinking, I didn't put it in here just because a lot of this is, you know, I wasn't getting a lot of the numbers from the town and stuff until today, so putting this together was kind of a nightmare to get it done in time anyway. And like I said, there's a lot of things that I didn't put in here that we needed to talk about. OSHA's one of them. Another vehicle's another one. The engineering for doing some of the lines. So there's just a bunch of topics that we need to look at and say, all right, does it make sense to move forward on them now? Or do we hold off? And some of this stuff, like the OSHA stuff, I figured I didn't really.
We don't have any numbers to even get into that. So
Exactly, that's why I didn't put anything in
Yeah.
here, but I'm
Well, we
assuming
haven't
I'm probably,
identified what the,
I'm probably gonna come to you guys before the fall town meeting saying, hey, we need to go for a revision to our budget and add all this stuff in. This is what the safety stuff's gonna cost. Whether we start doing it now and I pull it out of here and then we look at it and say, all right, this is what the expected cost is, we're gonna have to add this into the budget in the fall
yeah,
to cover some of that, and some of the other stuff's gonna be put on hold until we can get.
yeah. I think
Whatever.
if you can get all that together and then we have a meeting just to go over all that stuff and
Right.
work towards getting up to date on that.
Like I said, there's so much with OSHA,
Oh, I know.
and where
I know.
we've never fallen under it, it's just
Right.
everything went under.
Yeah.
And we have a lot more, there's some things that we have that need guards, and, I don't know how many have been over primary, but that vacuum pump kicks on, and if you're not aware of it, it's one of those things that you kinda stand there and put your foot on, cause it's kind of a good resting spot, but when it kicks on, automatically, you don't wanna have your foot on it.
Yeah,
But we have guards that need to be put in place.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
would
used to
say-
get a lot of training on lockout.
Lockout, tag out, yeah.
Tag out,
I would say that in the whole town, we're probably the biggest target for OSHA, this department.
Yeah, I
Between
think so.
between water and sewer,
Yeah.
we have the highest liability, hazards, everything else. Maybe fire might, I don't even know how they're gonna address that, there's no way you're gonna get OSHA compliant with firefighters. I mean, going into burning buildings and, you know, try to figure out what the hazards are and then
Right.
train people on it, and then put safety gear or whatever for a building that's gonna collapse on you while you're in a fire.
Yeah, I know.
All right, you gotta have 3 guys carry the trench box in to go with you while you're in the building so nothing falls on you. I mean, they're never gonna be able to address it all completely with fire.
No, but if you, I think if you demonstrate that you've tried, and you've
Right.
made every available attempt to make sure everything is safe.
As safe as you can.
Right.
I mean, it's just the nature of their business, but
Yeah, we got a lot to worry about walking around these pits, and
just everything down
the
here.
motors all gonna be locked out and tagged, and.
I mean, we're gonna need bloodborne pathogen training because of what we deal with. It's just, there's a tremendous amount of stuff that needs to be done. I mean, our law guys get the vaccinations that they are required, but it's still just a lot of stuff that they're aware of it, and just through some of the training that we go through for this type of work, you get all that stuff, but it's not really documented that would meet OSHA standards for the documentation that you need, that they've been trained. So. All right, you got any more dumb questions like first aid
I'm not
kits?
saying another word, let's go. Okay, looks good, water.
Public works supplies, we went up a little on the sewer, just because, like I said, there's a lot of things that need to be addressed. Public Works, generator plugs down at Gilboa Street's no good. And just some of the things at the pump stations that need to be taken care of, so. And we're already at 14,700 out of a $15,000 budget. We're just over halfway through the year.
How come the uniforms and other clothing's going up so high?
That's
Well,
not,
we
that's,
never had that as a line item. It was under another spot, and uniforms and clothing, if you look
Yeah,
at
that was under,
yeah, but that's not the rented stuff.
it's not the rental uniforms and clothing, so
Yeah.
this covers the boot reimbursement.
UniFirst goes under other services.
yeah, it was on some other one, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this is a new line item that they broke out, which we just put under other services before.
So that would be boots.
Boots or
Boots,
like
if you buy
jackets
the
that we
safety
don't
jackets. Rent.
lease or rent, and it's we purchase.
Yep. Okay.
But I said the same thing. I'm like, well, it says uniforms and other clothing. Why isn't that UniFirst? That's uniforms. But, and then you got me on the whole in-state travel, training and education, and out-of-state travel. That's why I reduced training and education. I looked at training and education as in our training when we send guys to training for the water licenses or the wastewater licenses, but that's not what training and education means. Training and education is travel for training and education, which is apparently different than in-state travel and out-of-state travel. But they kind of made
That's weird.
travel 3 different things, and there's travel 2 trainings.
Why confuse it so much?
I have no idea.
57,150. Travel for
I'm-
training.
I'm guessing
We got
that some of that may be because different travel that you get reimbursed for is covered under taxable and non-taxable. It depends on whether it's part of your job or I'm not sure.
well, maybe if you had to go to Vegas for training.
I didn't budget enough, so do it.
I don't.
But I think it's something to do with tax code would be my guess, because some things are, like if you had a home office, you know, if you had a town vehicle or a company vehicle, if you had a home office, it's your expenses covered. If you don't, then and you're just traveling. If you have a vehicle that's not strictly just going back and forth to work, then it's taxable as they get to add a dollar value to it. I don't know. It doesn't really apply to us so much, I would say. But anyway, that's the confusing part of the travel. Dues and memberships kept the same. Insurance premiums I went up. I don't actually have numbers from the town, so I'm assuming they're gonna go up some. For one, the mobile pipeline, we have additional property than we had before, so I'm assuming the insurance premiums will go up a little bit.
The insurance, yeah, because we didn't have those buildings before, right?
Yeah, we didn't have those buildings, but I also don't know if, I know we've had several claims from the school, water damage. They had a broken pipe twice, I think, that flooded out the building, and the costs for those were up in the hundreds of thousands, I believe, so that alone will jump our insurance premiums up, and I just don't know if
Why would that jump? Oh, because we're under,
we're grouped under the
Under the town.
town's policy, so I'm assuming that's gonna make ours climb as well, but like I said, I didn't get numbers from them, so I just put a little buffer in there. And capital on the sewer, I figure we have several capital items. Part of the generator. I mean, obviously that's not enough to cover the generator. But some of that money would come out of
that's
capital, I
that portable one you're
suppose.
talking about?
Yeah, so we need to get a portable generator for one it was in the DEP's report that we don't actually have a generator for the pump station. So we either put a generator over there, or we can get a portable that we own that we can bring over if we need it. And I mean,
That makes more sense.
I've already known that for years, but the portable that I would look for is to cover the booster station, because we don't have a generator for that. So if we lose power for more than 3 days, we're gonna kind of be in trouble for getting water up to that end of town. It also depends on what level the tank's at when we lose power. So it could be as little as a day before we're in trouble, or 3 days. So if we get one generator to cover Booster, Gilboa Street, Turbine, because Turbine has that old backup engine,
Oh, yeah.
as opposed to a generator where you start the engine and you disconnect the shaft from the motor and you engage the clutch from
Yeah.
the engine to run the pump. The problem with that one is we can't use that because then we don't have any chemical addition, no treatment. It's just pumping raw water with no treatment to it. So we couldn't actually run that even if we wanted to. So then we'll get a generator plug put in at Turbine, so that we can use the same generator for Booster, Turbine, Gilboa Street, and it would also kind of be a backup for Colonial. So we'd kill 4 birds with 1 stone on the generator there. But I don't have a number yet for the generator. We asked LaFleur to spec out what size generator we need, and then they came back with sheets of 4 different generators, all different sizes. So it didn't actually give me what I needed. So I need to find out exactly which one we need to make sure we cover the highest load
Yeah.
on all the stations.
Those generators, they come with their own towing? You
Yeah,
have to
it's
buy a trailer for it, or is it?
no, it comes set up
Comes all
as,
set
as a
up.
trailer. It'd be a diesel generator. Typically, you don't want a diesel generator at a pump station, but being portable, it's not there all the time, and you do inspections on them routinely to make sure they're not leaking. So you just don't bring it there if it ended up leaking. You get it fixed first. All right, so additional equipment. To be honest, I don't remember why 1500 was in there. It's level funded, but I don't know why we had it in there to begin with.
Yeah, went to 5850.
Something you don't
Don't
have.
have.
We've gone up 25,762 on that.
Overall for the sewer, well, that's for the sewer expenses. But then you look at the overall, you come down to the bottom, you're up about 10,552.
Yeah, what was, so that number shouldn't change, I mean, because it should drop, but, these numbers are just the debt that came from Jean, right?
Correct. Those numbers I did get from her.
Okay, so those shall be, so why did the waste, the third line, 59,125, why did that go up? Is that to close that out? That should be,
No, each year it goes up a little
Which was that?
for the wastewater plant.
I thought that was the last,
No, we've got,
I thought we were in our last round of,
I can show you what the. Let's see if I can grab that. Just, it's the way it's paid out.
right, as far as what we've collected and what's in the,
Yeah. Cut it all off, so I only have this year and last year's. But I've got it so it shows, and it goes up each year over the next few years until 2024, I think. So-
for that line item,
Yeah.
but I think we've,
It's the way the loan was set up on the payments.
yeah,
So it's just the payment increases, but I know what you're saying, so this line item's still gonna be here and it's gonna go up every year, but
Right.
it doesn't mean we need to collect for it.
yes. That should
So
be
we've already got money
in that account.
in
for
the
that.
account that we've
Which one are you
collected.
talking about?
For the third one down, it says WWTF rates.
Yeah.
So that one is the loan for the treatment plant. So each year it goes up a little bit as to what we're gonna pay towards the loan. But what Colin was getting at was, we shouldn't have to collect another $87,000
Oh.
because we've pretty much collected all the money required to pay off that debt.
So that's.
But I haven't sat with Jean to get the final number,
Number
because
on
we
the
didn't have them
bill
all
for
in its budget season, so she's busy, so.
For the billing.
Right, so after we get through this budget period, before the next billing cycle, we'll see what we still need to collect. And then we can look at how many customers we have paying that fee,
Right.
so we'll know exactly how much to either lower it or cut it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think that we should be able to decrease it. I don't know if we got enough to completely cut it out yet, but at least decrease it for this next billing cycle, and that would wipe it out for the following.
That'll be the last debt, but that's debt for the sewer plant.
That'll actually be the last debt altogether for
That
us,
we
so
have.
we will be debt-free at that point.
Which is good, and then, but we still.
Just in
but
time to
now we
start
have-
doing our
Right.
repairs that we need to do. And then we're
And
gonna have to.
Manchog sewer extension, that's all paid for now?
Yeah, Manchog was done.
Yeah.
Manchog's done being for our paying for it, but I believe we still have fees coming in
yeah.
from, that we're collecting off of the betterment as they charged it.
Okay, that's good.
So overall, the debt went down 10,000, but the total sewer department went up 18,000.
So
Again,
the total budget went up 18.
on the sewer.
Hmm?
On the sewer, we haven't gone
Yeah.
over water yet.
That's all right, that's good.
Alright,
Any more questions on the sewer? We all set?
We good, yeah.
alright, so on the water side, salaries actually went down 4,294. And that's just based on the level that the primary operator's at and what we would try to bring in someone underneath him at. Because the new primary operator obviously isn't at the level that Dave was at. You know, he was at the top of the scale, so that ended up bringing that number down a little. Let's see. Unemployment, I don't
Why are
typically.
you dropping the overtime?
It's just based on, I have a spreadsheet that I made that I estimate hours on call, call-ins, water main breaks, stuff like that. So I estimate those numbers.
That's not much.
And then it decreased because based on the hourly rate that the employees are at, or will be at, is less than what they were before.
Oh, okay.
And like
Yeah.
Dave was here for 13 years, so he was at the top of the pay scale, whereas the new guy isn't,
Okay.
so. So that's how that number came down some. Health insurance, again, that's one that I don't have the numbers, so you can kind of skip down until we get to electricity. And all those I level funded down to advertising, which I already explained. The IT contract is the same, the physicals, the employee training seminars conference went up a little. I'm assuming there's gonna be some costs associated with trying to send people out to get some of the OSHA training stuff to cover some of those. Telephone I went down, again, I'm gonna try to eliminate some of the phone lines that we have going between the buildings for SCADA systems and everything. Postage level funded, printing and mailing went up 200. I think the postage actually, the cost of a stamp went up. So I tried to adjust for that a little bit. Cell phones level. Charter, same thing. It's a new line item. got pulled out of a different area. Which other services, there's part of that.
I thought that was free to the town, but the internet service isn't, but the charter.
Yeah, like TV.
Yeah, which we don't.
I mean, we have a connection, actually, we have two.
Yeah, but we don't
connection
use
over
it.
there, there's a connection there, and
That's free.
we didn't even get the boxes whenever they told
Yeah.
us you need to get the boxes if you still want to use it, so.
We don't have time to watch TV down here anyway, so.
Yeah, I thought about putting it on, just leaving the news running all day. Level funded office supplies, level funded building and equipment repairs. Let's see. The vehicle supplies, that's the one I already explained about the radios. Public works supplies, we went up 5,000. Basically, we're already over the 40,000, and we're not even finished through the year. So, we'll increase that with some code enforcement books. I don't know why that would fall under us. Other supplies level, the whole uniforms, training, travel, same as the other one. I pulled 700 out of the training just because the training is for actual travel to the training, not the training itself. Dues and memberships, we went up a little. I'm assuming I gotta get the new water guy more memberships and stuff than we had before. Insurance premiums, again, I don't know the number, but I estimate it's gonna go up a little bit. Capital on the water, there's a few things that we gotta get in. We should have already had them in, but the chlorine analyzers were supposed to be installed, and we haven't had those in yet. We got one put in, but I still have two to go. And replacement equipment, that was the other part of the funds for the radio stuff. So overall, with the expenses, it went up 24,000. The retirement actually went down a little bit. The debt stuff we've already collected for, so it's just a matter of paying those out until the loan's done. So overall, we went up 15,000 on the water. So if you look at the end number for the total budget, we went up 34,000 over last year's.
What's the percentage of that? Yeah, 2%, something like that.
We didn't think to do that this year. Again, like the percentage thing, they're gonna run that, they call. Roughly 2.5.
0.5%?
2.5, I did it backwards, anyway.
What was the, to go back to capital on that. What was the, it went up 3750, but we've only expended 13,000. So what's the purpose? What's your thoughts on that?
Some of that is carrying over. We had originally budgeted money for the pipe to do the loop up on Northwest Main.
Mhm.
So a lot of that will be going back into
Ten earnings.
the retained earnings and then carry it over, plus a little because we have the analyzers and stuff that we have to make sure those get in, hopefully before our inspection.
So that would come out, would, I guess,
2.58%.
be the part of the puzzle for the Cook Street negotiations, that money for the E1.
Yes, that was just carried over. That was part of the capital on the
I think we
survey.
put for that last year.
Okay. I do, but you have to budget again because it goes
Yeah.
back in the return.
Right, so it's
You
just
pull it back out.
carrying it over. That's under the capital. That's why that number's still up there. So then, like I said, other than that, there's just the things like the OSHA, the vehicle.
What about a rate study?
Yeah, that's if you guys want to do one of those.
Well, I think we have to get a, we are gonna do that, but obviously it's not gonna work for, well, we could do it for the next billing, yes. We probably should, and probably should tie a little bit more involved in that rate study with some of the, like the requirements that we're gonna meet with OSHA.
Right.
All that type of stuff to see where we sit on a wide variety of things.
Yeah, because there'll be some reoccurring expenses due to the ocean.
Right. And then also if we can get a number on what, an accurate number on, what we have currently in retained earnings.
Yeah, I don't have that number right now.
And then including
Not
system
as high,
development
but
and
Right.
essentially, right, everything except debt,
Right.
yeah.
So did you?
You were talking about replacing a vehicle or buying another vehicle?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the water truck that we keep running into some issues with here and there. Dumping money into. I think we just put 1,500 into or 1,100 or something.
Yeah, how old is that one now?
That's an '08, so it's 11 years old.
Wow.
And that was our primary plow truck for 10 of those years. The 250 is 2011, so that one's 8 years old. But that one, I don't really see any major issues. I mean, ball joints, tie rod,
Yeah, this is general maintenance.
general
That's mine,
stuff.
yeah.
And, that truck seems to be in. The only thing I don't like about that truck, and it's been since we bought it, was the transmission just does not shift right. Sooner or later, that's gonna let go. Just you have to take it for a ride someday and see what it does. But
Switch over to Chevy. I know Highway did,
I think we're
Yeah.
gonna look at Chevy.
yeah,
yeah, I'm not opposed to it. But we had the old F-150 that we ended up letting. That one just went. The scrapyard took it not too long ago. It was on Ray
Since
Blue.
I've been here, I think we've only bought 3 new trucks.
yeah.
These last 2, and then
Right, the
one before that.
that Ray blew the rear end out of, and then we got the Jeep to kind of take its place. But
Did they get rid of that truck? Is this the one that's gone?
I got rid of it.
Okay, good.
So the one that's 11 years old, that's a 350?
Yeah, that's the utility body truck.
I don't think we should do anything this year. I think it should be in the next budget cycle, start down to that 12 years old, so we'll look at where we are with and if it's starting to get, the maintenance is starting to outweigh,
Right.
depending on where it is. That's obviously,
I think we'll wait until next year to
I think
budget.
we have a lot on our plate to look at for this year, I think,
Yeah.
and I think it's a necessity, obviously, but I don't think it's at the point where
Well,
it's,
the necessity of that truck isn't so much the necessity as to the third vehicle, because I can tell you now that I've gone and bottomed my car out trying to go into some of the construction sites and stuff, and I really don't care to take my car into them anymore.
yeah.
And, we're lacking a vehicle. The admin uses her vehicle to drive back and forth, so we're paying mileage on that all the time. So it's just a matter of, we don't have enough vehicles to keep up with what's going on.
So
And-
what, the 250, I mean, there should be one of them that should be down here anyway, right? I mean, the one.
Right, but when he goes to do the pump stations, or if we have a water main break or anything else, both vehicles end up there.
Yeah,
And then if we're both working on a water main break and I gotta try to get him to go do something, we don't have another vehicle for anyone to go. We need to send someone for parts or whatever. We're just.
I mean, is
short
it
on
something that
vehicles.
we should think about, like a Honda Fit or something like that?
Well, that's
So. and
part
then-
of what I wanted to have for the conversation is,
And then you can use
look
that
at
for
it.
meter reading too. You don't need a pickup truck for reading
Yeah, I was gonna
meters,
say maybe a mid-sized pickup truck though.
or to
So if
run
you gotta
the,
pick something up, at least you can,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's,
I don't think a car would be the ideal thing.
I don't know, I mean, you look at it and instead of sending a pickup truck to go to a training in Orange, Mass, or
Yeah.
you know, Carver. For whatever reason, they pick the stupidest spots to have trainings, and they're the only ones they offer, and you got to, you know, they're trainings that we need. So
Or even if you had, you know, I mean, I don't
Well,
know.
we do mileage reimbursement, so if somebody uses their own vehicle to go to the training, we do reimburse the,
we do, but
Yeah.
it's a matter of if they don't want to take their vehicle, and you know, now they're taking a town vehicle, and you're driving however far. I mean,
Well, and some of it's kind of
Well-
crazy too. I mean, if you're sending somebody to pick up a, you know, go down to Koopmans to get trash bags and bee spray,
right?
and you're running an F-250 down there, where it says you
Oh,
could
yeah,
have,
yeah.
you know, you could have a Honda Fit or something to do that, you know.
Yeah, but what's the difference between cost that and a small, and a mid-sized pickup?
right.
You know,
I don't think we do enough running around.
like the
there.
Coronado, was it, or something?
Oh, Colorado,
Colorado?
and then
Still
you
have-
also might want to look
Or
at
a small
saying,
Toyota? I'd rather go
Half
American.
ton.
you know, you might also want to look at going with like an electric vehicle, and try to convince the town that we're supposed to be a green community now. We get green community money. That, you know, perhaps some of that money for the green community should go towards an electric vehicle that would give us credit towards the green community stuff.
Oh, I should, yeah.
So they're
Yeah,
gonna
I'd-
give us money to buy an electric vehicle?
It's grant money. We're part of the town for the green communities thing,
If
and
they give
we're
us
part
money
of
to
the.
buy it, I would agree with it, but I'm not
We're
gonna
part of
support
the-
buying an electric vehicle.
No, I'm not.
Well, no,
You say
then,
if we get money to buy one,
If it's a
maybe.
grant money and they want, right, they'll give it to us.
well, then you need the charging station,
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
you're
that-
not running
that's-
an extension
Well, that
cord out the
depends.
window.
I mean,
and then in the middle of winter,
Yeah, then we'd have to hook up a charging station too then, right?
I'm all set
well, it
with that.
depends. I mean, it's which vehicle you go with. Those little,
But you got the hybrids too. That
Well, you
you've
don't
got the
plug
gas
into the
engine.
110 volt.
you can.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think
Oh,
we put,
didn't
I
know
don't think we put on enough miles to even nearly quantify the whole electric vehicle thing. I mean, look at how many miles we get on the trucks. You take an 11-year-old truck, what do we get for mileage on?
Close to 90,000.
that. 11 years, 90,000, that's it.
So, it's not- I can't see the expense to,
Yeah.
I mean, if you were
Well-
driving it all the time. and
No,
running
but
it,
what you're
didn't-
burning for
I was
gas
gonna
and
say
fuel and stuff.
between fuel,
Yeah.
oil changes, you know, the maintenance wise, they're a lot less.
And I can see the downside to the electric, but if you went with the hybrid and you've got the gas engine to recharge the thing, and there still should be some credits there. And
No, they
again,
stopped.
there's-
They stopped on the hybrid,
Did they? Yeah.
but it's also a lot of that credit stuff was on your taxes, and we don't pay tax. So
Mm.
I'm just saying, if the green communities part, you know,
Pays,
A lot of municipal vehicles are going that way, and Massport's vehicles are all, you know, they're heading that way with their vehicles. I see them at the airport. So
Electric.
yeah, and I mean they're already talking about electric buses. So
they probably get a lot of, like I said, the grant money for them, and they gotta put on a big show in Boston. You know, everybody's gotta,
we have a big show in Douglas.
Yeah. I mean, if that's something you think we could get away with, just an electric vehicle, well,
I mean, just for the running around town stuff, or like you said, down to Koopmans, or
Yeah.
you know, or even if it was a training, it's not like we're driving 400 miles for
Yeah.
you know those.
yeah, the most you're gonna go is what, 200 miles?
Well, the
And
thing is, you
that's-
couldn't
that-
possibly take the truck because the truck's kind of got to be here in case something happens.
Right, yeah.
So it's
I mean, I would, for the record, I won't vote for it, but so you guys can outvote me on that one, but I would support a vehicle that you could, a smaller truck of some sort that you can, that's
Yeah.
functional, dual purpose.
I think I'm
A
looking at
smaller
the
engine,
same
but-
way, it's, you know,
I'm not,
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out
for
there.
the amount of mileage we put on that, I mean, if we got 90,000 miles on an 11-year-old truck, if we bought a new small pickup truck, or,
Yeah, I want to say I don't think we got it's probably right around 40,000 on the 250, which is 8 years old. So.
yeah.
that's what I mean, really not,
To me, it doesn't make sense to go to an electric.
I can't see quantifying that. But, it's, I mean, it's,
I don't say I still like the idea of buying the truck new every year, auction off at the end of the year. Just because we get such a price break being a municipality,
yeah, I know.
we could probably sell it for what we paid for it and have a new vehicle that doesn't
Yeah.
have any maintenance issues every year.
Because even if you did get a small pickup, that would tow the generator around too.
Oh no,
No?
That'd be too big.
That generator will
Yeah.
be too heavy.
That'd be too heavy?
Yeah, look at the jetter where we're probably not even legal
No,
pulling that.
that should almost be on a 6-wheel dump, yeah.
Yeah, it's, I think, 12 or 13,000 pounds. So,
I know somebody in the finance committee wanted us to change trucks every 3 years.
well, there's,
Well, I think the next
there
time
was
too, we
people
ought
at
to,
town meeting asking why we weren't leasing them.
We run them too long, we don't
Well,
put
they-
miles on. You know?
They don't understand the, I mean, people lease because it's a tax benefit. You get to claim the full value of the truck the
Right.
first year. It's a
Well,
tax
leasing
break.
would be the worst thing for here.
Yeah, it's a tax benefit, and we don't pay
Right.
tax, so there's no benefit to us leasing. I mean, I'm all for it. We get a new vehicle every year or 3 years or whatever. That's
yeah, I
fine.
know, but who's gonna buy it?
Right.
Where do they see
Who's
the
gonna
bed
pay
when
for
we're
it?
done with the bed?
Yeah, I know.
And you gotta outfit it. and
Yeah.
get the
I
rear
mean,
wheels
leasing's
and all
fine,
that.
but you know,
Yeah, no.
Doesn't make sense for us at all.
But I think we should seriously consider the
Makes
next
sense for
truck
us
that we buy
because it-
should be a diesel.
you'd pay more for,
That should be a serious
I
consideration.
mean, go by every little scratch.
For the
and
next-
dent and-
Like,
If you,
the
when you go to
350.
replace that 350,
Yeah.
that should be diesel,
I agree.
Diesel?
yeah.
Well, I know they had,
John's getting away from all the
John
diesels.
got rid of the diesels because they were too much
He's
problems.
getting away from
The cost
diesels?
to-
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cost to maintain them, and they weren't, and they were breaking down continually,
Yeah.
and you had to be, you can't let them idle,
Yeah.
you can't let them, there's a lot, I guess, a lot of,
Well,
the older
that's-
ones were good, yes, but I think the new ones, there might be a lot of issues there.
Well, that's, it
And depending on what you're at,
depends
get
on
the DAF and all
what
that.
you do, so,
Yeah.
but,
You know, personally, I think we look into a small pickup.
as long as you get on the highway once in a while and let that thing blow out, or you have somebody doing manual regens, it shouldn't be an issue. So,
Alright. So
We're
I'll
out of
wait to
tape.
hear from Gina on
Meeting adjourned.
numbers. I'll get numbers from her if anything needs to change or we wanna add anything in there on those.
Yeah, I'd have
Just
to,
get-
I'll go through and kind of see where we are, and then the next meeting, we'll have,
Yeah, yeah.
well,
we
even
can-
before that, because we're gonna have, well, we can vote on the budget, but we should probably should have any changes that we want.
Right, so I would say we'll hold off on you guys voting on this until Tuesday's meeting.
Yes,
Next Tuesday, and hopefully I'll have some numbers from Gina and we'll see if there's anything. And like I said, this was kinda, a lot of this was last minute, so I need to make sure I got the bases covered on this anyway.
yeah.
We're gonna set up a meeting for next Tuesday.
It's already, we already have a commissioners meeting next Tuesday, so
Oh, yeah.
we'll just add the budget to the agenda.
That's the second Tuesday of the month.
First Tuesday of the month.
Oh, we'll be the first, yeah, okay, yeah. All right, I can make that.
The only other
You
thing,
think you'll have the numbers finalized by then?
Hopefully she said she should be able to do it in 5 days to a week.
so the only, on, old business would be, did you see the,
I saw
job
that.
description?
I haven't gone through it yet.
So if we could get that finalized for the next meeting, and we could get that in place, so we can get that advertised
Yep.
and get that filled for
Yeah, but
the assistant.
I know she wrote it up that way, but it's really two separate jobs, not one.
Well, we had, this used to have, we used to have an assistant water authority, because we're gonna do,
Well, that
initially
was-
to get started, I think, get them trained on, working on.
Well, yeah, I want everybody cross-trained, but that original job title was before you built the new treatment plant.
Yeah,
When they built the new treatment plant, it was required to have 2 full-time down here, so it wasn't a split position anymore.
yeah. So I think, I mean, this is just gonna be like a general
Yeah,
labor position type thing. So I think, however, that, if you're gonna tweak that, whatever you need to do, I just wanted to get the ball rolling, so you had it in front of you, that you could, rework that when you needed to, but you
Yeah.
have that for the next
I'll change
meeting.
it. Yep. Anything else?
No. I think in the meantime, just, like I said, stay in touch with Matt or Bill, whoever's the driver on that, grant.
Actually, I don't know who, it seems like EDC's the driver, but I don't think they understand the budget process or how the money works or.
Well, I mean, as far as getting the, I mean, obviously it's gonna be, all departments are gonna need to put their heads together and get it in there, but just, I guess, the communication, making sure this
Yeah.
one's not thinking this one's doing it, this one thinking this one's
Right.
doing it, and then nothing's getting done, you know what I mean?
I'll get estimates, like I said, and I'll go talk to them and say, this is what it's gonna cost, and I don't have the money in my budget.
Right. And I think Matt's probably gonna want that for, if they're gonna do anything at town meeting, if it can be done in that, I know it was discussed for the.
And they thought we were going to the meeting up there today.
So you got more bills to sign?
More bills.
Who did, who thought we were going to meeting?
The gentleman from EDC,
Thought we were going to what meeting?
the selectmen's meeting. Apparently they have a meeting tonight discussing some of the budget stuff.
Oh, we weren't, were you informed?
About half hour before our meeting.
Oh, well, we didn't know about it, where to go.
I know.
I said, just signed a bunch of bills this afternoon.
So, we good?
But I think he was under the, because he said, you know, we need to move forward to get the grant, you need to get the design and the, you know, all that stuff done. I'm like, it's a lot of money, we don't have that money.
Well, we'll get the proposals, we can get the proposals.
But they're looking for a July 15th deadline to have all this stuff submitted.
Yeah.
So it has to be paid for like out of this year's budget. So I highly doubt that the town has any money set aside for that. I highly doubt EDC
think they
even
can
has that much money in the budget.
Yeah, that would have to, figure out. There's enough in,
I mean, whether it was an article, but I still don't know how you'd get it done.
well, Hal did mention at the last meeting that if it was the time crunch, because he realized the numbers as well, timeline, that it would be a big enough item to call a special town meeting, if need be, to get,
Right, but
to meet that July, you know, if we had to say, you know, go to,
Yeah.
if it's July is the cutoff on that, whatever the cutoff is, try to get it before, if possible. But, I mean, just try our best, that's all we can do.
a special town meeting, I think it takes, it's gonna take a good 6 weeks to, at least to schedule.
Yeah,
I forget what the posting requirements are, but
yeah. Well, I don't know, we still got 4 months, so, to meet the criteria that had to be submitted by July, right? For the grant?
well,
That's what I mean, that used to be one piece of paper.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
you would,
crazy.
you would probably need them to design it prior to getting
Is it
the
10 pieces of
actual
paper for it?
construction estimate. And you need to know what the construction is in order to file for the grant,
Right.
I would assume.
At least 11
Gina
pieces
really
of
gives
paper,
them.
we used to do it on one.
Let's do it on one.
Yeah, if she can give us
Whatever we can do.
budget
to help,
estimates on
yeah.
both. then
Whatever
we
whatever
should-
we need to do to try to keep it rolling.
I don't know who come up with that crazy idea to Munis, but. 11 pieces of
Yeah.
paper, we used to do one
I know.
The final.
for a final read, one
Yeah.
piece of paper, now it's 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should ask the IT guy if there's a setting to do, be able to go front and back on the. But anyway, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 9:05.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.